Welcome to a new video and a new long-term smartphone review, this time around in the Nubia Z60 Ultra. So let's get started. The Nubia Z60 Ultra is the underdog smartphone of the year. It comes with a very large camera bump, it comes with a very large battery and a very large unobtrusive screen, because we have an under-display camera on this screen, which is quite nice on this one. And before we start talking about the device a little bit more and about the build quality, I want to show you or talk a little bit about how I tested this phone and what kind of ecosystem I was using, because some people are asking me, especially on this long-term reviews, what was the smartwatch, what you're using, what kind of earbuds were you using, which one worked the best with the device. And yeah, I will talk a little bit about this one as well. So the smartwatch I was using it with lately is the Huawei watch, the first Huawei watch, not the new Watch 3 or Watch 3 Fit or whatever they call it, the original watch. But I was also using it the first half of the month with the Blackview R60. If you're interested in the Blackview R60, I did a review, as well as in the Huawei Watch Fit. You can take a look at the Huawei Watch Fit review, the original one. I think I did in New Zealand still. That is also out there. When it comes to true wireless earbuds, I'm sticking to the Moondrop Space Traveler. Very affordable true wireless headphones. This transparent, nice look here. Good audio quality. And later on, I switched to the much more premium Moondrop Golden Ages 1979 with a planar driver inside. Very, very cool. Very nice mid-focused soundstage. But if you want another sound signature with an update, you can also get it. Pretty soon there will be a review about the Moondrop Golden Ages. The Space Travel already has a review. So these are the devices that I used to test with the Nubia Z60 Ultra. Another thing that I have to mention is definitely the case that I have on here. This is the official Nubia case with like a bit of this fiber kind of look there. As you can see, it's protecting the camera lens is quite good. The sides are open, so the display is not really protected, even though the lips on the four corners are a bit raised and protrude. But therefore it feels very, very nice and slim, if you can talk about slim on this device. And it also has a MagSafe or magnetic kind of feature here. And yes, lately I'm using more and more cases that have this magnetic kind of feature or MagSafe feature. One reason might be because my wife has just a MagSafe charger / phone holder in her car, and no other phone will stick to it. So I got like a little bit of cases there for testing my devices out. And the other one is like, it's just convenient just to have like something plugged in here. Though the Nubia Z60 Ultra doesn't support wireless charging, it has this case, this official Nubia case, as you see here, with this MagSafe or magnetic ring that allows you to add accessories here, like a wallet or something like this, even though I never used it really for that, just like to put it on the car holder there. So nice little case. I also made a video about this case if you're interested in this one as well. As for build quality of the Nubia Z60 Ultra, it's a very, very solid kind of device. It's a brick, basically. It's very, very large of a device. Also a bit of thicker than maybe other devices with its flat edges, but very, very substantial and very, heavy in a way, in a sense. Not like in a bad sense that it's like falling out of your hand because it's so heavy, or making you rest every few minutes because you're holding the phone, but very substantial. And yeah, I could imagine like if someone wants to mug me, I could like defend myself with this brick of a phone, which looks quite nice. We have this raised kind of camera bump there that houses those three cameras. And this is also quite interesting to talk a little bit about the cameras, because this is, I think, one of the only smartphones that has 3 OIS lenses on board. Usually you have just the main camera sensor as the one with OIS and maybe the tele one. But here we have the main, the tele one and the ultra wide angle with OIS. And this helps especially with low light, but also with stabilization in video, and this is the reason why they're so far apart, because yeah, magnets are used for OIS, and if you put magnets too close together they might attract each other. This is why they had to build it like this here. I'm glad anyway that Nubia was doing it. And talking a little bit more about the camera, the main camera sensor here has a 35mm field of view, which is quite unique for the smartphone world, because it gives you like a normal field of view in camera terms. And then we have also the ultra wide angle that has 18mm of view. That is a bit of an ultra wide, but not so ultra. It's a wide one, especially when it comes from smartphone photography, where 24mm or 23mm are used. This is just not such a big difference there. So it's just like maybe others that use this as main, but it's wide enough, especially when it comes for recording videos, where I liked it very much and was recording quite some videos with it. And this is my perfect one when it comes to vlogging, like vlog and talk, like running around, and don't have to worry about fitting everything inside. It's way better than an action cam. Has this wide field of view still, has this superior autofocus, superior larger sensor there, and works also in low light quite good with the OIS stabilization there. And then we have this periscope zoom, also quite large sensor, 1/2 inch sensor, that is working as well quite nicely in the dark. Maybe not so much, because the optimizations for Nubia when it comes to low light photography are not so great, but in daylight you can get off with quite good shots. The only thing that I really have to criticize here is that the portrait shots, if I want to use this telezoom lens, sometimes focus on the background instead of the person, even though they detect the person's face. So there's something wrong maybe with the focusing that sometimes misfires, which is a bit of a bummer. Otherwise, if Nubia can get this fixed, they have a perfect camera setup on their device, and you can see it also in the camera score that I give for this device, where I think this one shines, especially for photography, with this street mode. And this is another specialty when we talk about buttons, because we have a slider here, and this is not an alert slider, this is a street view slider. So if I slide here, we go straight into street mode, which is a special snapshot kind of mode, where it tunes down a little bit the processing, but still has a bit of this own kind of styling with various different profiles that are available here, like film profiles, like Fujifilm, like Kodak, like Agfa, and all those old film style portrait and film style classics are on board here, and you can choose between them, and they really change their look and feel, which is quite nice. You can see it directly on the screen itself. There's also a black and white filter there available, and I really like it for street photography, because this slider is enormously fast and quick and allows me to get the shot quite easily. And the shutter speed is also very good, at least on the main camera sensor. Like I said, the smaller camera here on the smaller camera sensor on the tele might be not the best, but tele is also not used for street photography usually. The ultra wide and the main 35mm I think are the ones that you would use for street photography, and this is the best feature of this device. And like I said, ultra wide angle video also very solid, and especially solid if you like to vlog without a selfie stick or something like this, because you get a wide field of view with it. When we talk about the build quality, we also have to talk about the main screen, which is quite fantastic. And if you're thinking, hey, why is he not talking about the front-facing under-display camera? Because it's better to forget that you have it. Just in emergency situations, you can get away with some quick shots, otherwise forget about it. And I also was forgetting about it, using always the ultra-wide angle if I want to have group shots or something like this, and trusting that I get the shot right without seeing myself really. But the cool feature about this under-display camera is that we have a full screen, unobtrusive kind of display here, which is very nice. It gets quite bright, not as bright as other flagship devices, but bright enough that you can still read it in the sunshine. Sometimes it's like not as good readable as the Honor Magic 6 Pro that I'm using here for filming, for example, but it is good enough, I would say. And the cool thing is it stays relatively bright as well. It's not dimming down so quickly as others like Samsung, Apple are doing quite quickly when you're recording, especially video, where this one shines and it's not dimming down too quickly here, also when you're recording 4K. And yeah, what can I say about the display? It's a good display, I would say. There are some nitpicks still that is like the differentiator between like a super flagship device and just an entry-level flagship device, because here we have 120 Hertz display, the refresh rate, but it can only dim down to 60 Hertz if you want to. There's no LTPO variable refresh rate available, which might have helped also with battery life here. But look at this device, how thick it is. It has a 6,000 milliampere hour battery. And let's talk about the battery. It's fantastic, the battery life here for a flagship device. It is coming very close to what the Magic 6 Pro can do or other devices can do here. It's one of the best battery lives that I experienced. The only downside, this is why in this category of battery life it doesn't get the full points here, would be wireless charging is missing. And I think it could be a bit better with LTPO still, getting a bit more juice out of the 6,000 milliampere hours battery here on this device. Otherwise, pretty solid as a device. Let's quickly talk about audio. We have a bottom firing speaker and we have a front firing upper speaker earpiece. They get pretty loud. There's a bit of like lag in terms of bass. The highs are okay. I think if you tune it a little bit in the system settings, you can get a bit of a better sound there. But in general, I'm happy with this one. It's not class leading for sure, but what you can really do with this one is DTS sound, for example, and you have game, which is the one that I chose, which gives you the best in terms of bass and the best in terms of quality of the sound. And you have also headphone types that you can choose here, various different headphone types, also models that you can select, various different models, so not only ZTE or Nubia ones, but other ones like Biodynamic, Audio Technica, Asus, Creative, and so on, and it optimizes the earbuds or headphones accordingly, which is quite nice and a bit of a unique feature that I didn't see so much. And does it help? Yeah, I think with the cheaper kind of headphones, it really can help there to improve the audio quality. So I'm quite happy that we have this on board here. When it comes to the haptics and vibrations, it is standard, it's default. It's not the best, so I wouldn't like say it is as good as the Xiaomi 14. It's not coming close to the Oppo, but it's okay, it is good. For typing, for example, I don't have any issues with this one, and I like the haptics motor, but it's not used with in the operating system as prominently as on the ColorOS or HyperOS, so this is maybe a little bit of a downside there, but it's not the worst. I would say it's like a solid kind of haptic motor here, and haptics used on the system itself on the Nubia Z60 Ultra. Let's talk a little bit about the software. MyOS 14 based on Android 14 is installed here on the Nubia Z60 Ultra. That's quite a good kind of skin, I would say, for Android here. I like it, I have to say. It is missing some modern kind of features like big folders that I would really like to have, or modern kind of widgets. And this is a bit of strange because the Nubia Z50S Pro, the Chinese version, has all of this there in a special mode. Sadly, for the global version, we have just a traditional, very Android stock-like experience. Some people might prefer it, but I would like to have like basically maybe a mixture of both. That would be very helpful. Otherwise, we have the control center and the notifications split it here, but you can also opt in to have it joined if you like this more traditional Android style. Otherwise, we have, like you can see here, those larger kind of quick toggles there and more quick toggles then to choose from all the stuff that we want to. Customizability is also quite good on this device, so we have lots and lots of customization options on this device. We have this one-handed mode, like a little bit of one UI, as you can see here, and we have theme and personalization where you can basically adjust everything. So we have some preset themes there that we can change to. We have a wallpaper, always on display, lock screen settings, app icons that we can change, the form if you want to, have them mono icons as well if you need to. We have a super lock, which is like a super wallpaper kind of thing on other devices. And we have also the animation speed that we can set up here if you want to. We have colors and shapes that we can set up, the true Android settings there, fonts that we can check out. We have the always on display, the fingerprint animation and an effects animation that will show up when new notifications arrive. Let me show it to you better this way. which is quite nice. So lots and lots of themes and customizations. It is not as sophisticated as ColorOS or HyperOS or HarmonyOS, Emotion UI, and some others, but it's getting there. And this kind of mixture of like more stock kind of Android with not so fancy animations, more quick kind of animations, and yeah, it's definitely something that I would categorize as workhorse. It has all the nice little bits and pieces, besides maybe those larger folder icons and newer kind of widgets, where I would say I'm satisfied already with the UI, but it's not the best kind of experience there. When it comes to updates, this device here, in contrast to maybe the global predecessor or the Z50S Pro that didn't get so many updates, this one already got like, I think, 5 updates since I have it, which is quite nice. So I more or less regularly get new updates with tons of new features and bug fixes, which is quite nice. And I'm awaiting the new leading version that is also available of the Nubia Z60 Ultra update to arrive, which allows us to record video and switch between all lenses, because currently when I go into video mode and I start recording, when I'm zooming in here, I'm just cropping into the ultra wide angle instead of using all the other lenses there, which is like a bit of a limitation no matter which kind of resolution or frame rate I'm filming with. And the leading version should have fixed this. And leading version basically is the same kind of version with a slightly overclocked processor there. And I think they changed the main camera sensor as well. I think maybe the under display camera sensor has been also exchanged there, but nevertheless, yeah, this is something that I'm looking forward to get. So there are also feature updates coming to macOS, but yeah, the update rate and the promise for updates is not as great. I think only 2 major Android upgrades are promised and 3 years of security, which is not as great in today's standards, especially when it comes to the flagship devices. Hopefully Nubia can improve upon with the Z70 series, but maybe they can also promise a little bit more for the Z60 series there as well. That would be really helpful, because I think they don't have too many devices where I would say it would be hard for them to manage this. Otherwise, the software experience is quite nice, and yeah, all the basic features are there. Like I said, it's a workhorse of a device, and I didn't have any issues with this in terms of delayed messages or notifications or Google services, because it's a global device, so all the Google services are on board. Google Gemini is also working here, as you see, without any issues there. I can ask, wie wird das Wetter morgen in Wesel? I have to ask it in German, but then it will tell me about it.
Morgen wird es in Wesel überwiegend sonnig bei Temperaturen zwischen 14 und 23 Grad.
At least it's telling me here, and you can see also it's written it down. So this is a Google Gemini support here. We have Google Photos as well on board with some features, but the magic eraser or something like this is missing. So AI features is something where you have a little bit of lag still on this device, because yeah, it's like I said, it's a workhorse without all this gimmicky kind of AI features that you find maybe on other phones. The other thing about the software is we have not so much bloatware installed. There are the Google services, and you have, I think, Booking and Facebook installed, but that is basically everything. The rest is stock and clean, very clean, because we don't even have like their own album app or something like this. This is like simple gallery that I installed from the F-Droid store, and also a simple music player, because it doesn't come with one. You can install the Google Music if you want to, or YouTube Music, or how it's called, and you can use Google Photos, but that's it. The only thing that you have under ZTE is like File Manager, Clock, Voice Recorder, Contacts Google, and Weather app. So those are like 4 apps in general that we have here that are from ZTE. The file manager is pretty basic. It has some nice layout, I would say, and some quick things that you can do here, and recent that you can check out, apps that you can check out if you want to, the installed or APKs that you have on your device. And if you go to installed, you can share those apps, which is quite nice, even like native apps, which is quite nice. And archives as well. And if you want to copy something or extract something, you go to a normal kind of mode. Sadly, it's just jumping directly to the folder where the file is. So you have to jump then to your external drive or wherever you want to go. So it's not saving the history of where you copied files to, which is a bit of a cumbersome thing. You know that I'm doing this a lot, like getting with my USB thumb drive stuff out of here. USB OTG is working fine with this, but like I said, it is about like going back to the default kind of folder instead of like jumping to the last folder I went to, which is a bit of a bummer. Otherwise, yeah, there's no default email application, so you are sticking to Google Mail. Google Mail was no alternative for me, so I was not using this because it's not working with third-party accounts so well. At least I cannot search on third-party accounts, which is a big of a bummer. So I'm going to Thunderbird, not Thunderbird K9 Mail, which is like the unofficial version or what's supposed to be Thunderbird for mobile phones, and this one is working very, very nicely. It has also landscape support and such things, but I cannot really rule it into the score, but it's because it's not a native app here. If they would put K9 Mail or even a rebranded version of K9 Mail on this device, I would like say, great, fantastic, actually, best email client on a device pre-installed. Otherwise, I have to install it. And on other devices, if I don't like the native email client, this is the client that I go to usually. So it is a bit of lacking and minimalistic. Some people like it because they can go and check out the clients, the best gallery application, music application, and email application that they like. Others like to stick to the Google stuff, and you can install the Google stuff there as well without any issues. But keep that in mind that it comes with a very minimalistic kind of software there, and yeah, more or less bloatware free, which is quite. When it comes to performance, and maybe I will get the volume a bit down here, this is a really very, very fast device. It has a Snapdragon 8 Gen 3, and it is heavily profiting from the gaming phones from Nubia, and this one gives us the possibility to use this device heavily without any issues with games, with the video editing, all this stuff if you want to. So without much of an issue. We have here a full-on experience for games, for everything that you need. 12 gigs of RAM here, so not much of an issue with anything that you throw against it. There is a bit of a RAM, I wouldn't call it issue, but let's say it is a bit of weird that sometimes it's closing some apps in the background there, even though we have 12 gigs of RAM, and not about like notification issues or something like this. So we don't have this issue at all with this device here. This is my age, if you were asking or curious about it. And the bad thing about this age is it's I'm getting older each year. I don't want push notifications. Let's just like I just want to start the game. So there you have some game. As you can see, running nicely. This is no issue at all with this game. This is, I think, not the real game. This is just advertisement. The real game will start in a second. You see, I'm recording this with one hand. Nevertheless, gaming performance in general about this device is very, very good, very quick, no issues at all with this one. One of the fastest phones on the market right now. Together with this large battery and 12 gigs of RAM, we have a good performance without any issues. And I really like it for gaming, especially with this like unobtrusive screen. And also, it is quite... Is this another kind of advertisement? It's another kind of advertisement. So yeah, games are full of advertisements. They can see another feature of this device. We have a gaming mode as well. We can also record the screen. We can switch to another app if we want to. And such things are also possible here on this device. So very quick device, very solid device. No issues in terms of performance. You get the best performance, I think, on a Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 that you can currently get without it being a gaming phone, having those large big cameras that produce nice little videos and photos. So yeah, this is what you can get, what you can experience. The adverts. Just forget about it. Just this device is very, very performant, and this is why it gets one of the highest scores there in terms of performance for sure. And I really like it when it comes to fluidity of the device and working through tasks, everyday tasks. It's a working horse. Talking a bit about the security features here, we have facial recognition. Even though we have an under-display camera, it can do 2D face unlock. And then, of course, we have also, and this is the right position for the fingerprint reader. Let's maybe There's the fingerprint reader, as you might have saw for a split second. There's the fingerprint reader. So it's also the right position for the fingerprint reader. It's quite quick. It is not, I think, on Xiaomi's level quick, but it's very reliable and quick. In the past, especially the Z50S Pro, I had a little bit issues with the fingerprint reader, but here it is very quick and reliable, so no issues at all with the Z60 Ultra. There's no dedicated security chip here, so this is a bit of a downside, that everything is like stored on your memory, encrypted, but there's no definite extra encryption chip for this kind of thing. Otherwise, you cannot use the under display kind of camera for banking apps or such things, but you can use the fingerprint scanner. And unlike the Oppo Find X7 Ultra, that sometimes was a bit weird with banking apps, this one worked very reliably with all the banking apps that I was trying out, so no issues there at all. Also here, when it comes to Google Pay or paying with NFC, no issues at all with this one here. And also paying with NFC in particular very good, because I don't have to hold the phone so close to the device. I just have it like, I don't know, 5 to 8 centimeters away from the device, and it just starts already reading the QR code, the NFC code, which is quite nice. And yeah, working very, very reliable. So yeah, all over the place, this device is a working horse. Like I said, it's a very, very good underrated device, I would say, because you can get it for a very, very good price. You get a nice display there, nice everything. It's a working horse, and this is, I think, yeah, one of the underdog smartphones of this year still, even though it came out last year. But with the leading version being a bit more expensive, I think it might be still interesting for some people to get it, because it's a very, very reliable working horse. And I think we will do a conclusion now, and we'll explain a little bit the points to you, and yeah, the ranking of the Nubia Z60 Ultra. If you have some questions about the Z60 Ultra, write them down in the comment section, and let's go and check out the conclusion and ranking. Here we have the scoring or the ranking of the Nubia Z60 Ultra, and what does it mean actually? So we see in terms of performance, we have a very high score with 4.725 points, CPU, RAM, multitasking and GPU. The only issue that I have a bit, this is why it's not higher, is the multitasking, because yes, it has 12 gigs of RAM, and in theory it should hold this very nicely. But if you go into the multitasking view, you sometimes find it closing apps. And I don't know why it's closing apps. Sometimes it's doing it, sometimes some other times it's not doing this. And even though it has this large kind of amount of RAM, it is freeing the RAM in the background quite often as well. So that even in the recents menu or the multitasking view that you see, you can get some apps that reload. Otherwise, in terms of multitasking, like a split window, for example, is working very nicely without any issues. So this is like software-wise also very well done. You can even save those as a pair on the home screen, which is quite nice, and you can swap them out, which is also quite nice. We also have the possibility to put like a little mini window there somewhere, stick it around, so we can open up 3 apps at the same time. So, and they work all very, very fluidly. So in terms of performance, very, very good. Battery life, very, very good. In normal usage, fantastic. Standby, fantastic. Camera usage a bit lower, but still fantastic. And charging, very, very quick. 80-watt charging, but I think it is holding the 80 watt a little bit longer than other 80-watt chargers here. So it's, for example, charging way faster, even though it's 6,000 milliamp hours, than my Magic 6 Pro right now. But it comes with a little bit downside, and this is the heat, because it gets quite hot during the charging, alarmingly hot. The first time I was charging it, I was like, ooh, what's going on here? It's very, very hot. But I got used to it, and it's not like exploding or burning a hole in the ground or something like this. But it gets quite hot, but therefore it charges very, very quickly, those 6,000 milliamp hours. So I'm very happy also with the charging speed. Display, like I said, it's not the best display. We have this nice unobtrusive view there. Resolution is, I think, okay. It's a bit higher than Full HD. Brightness is okay, could be a bit better there. So we have, I think, around 1000 nits there in terms of brightness, could be a bit higher there as well, I would say. Colors are okay, but not the best, especially when it comes to the nighttime color mode. It's getting too red and like then too punchy, those colors there. You can tweak it there, but by default, it doesn't look good in this nighttime view. Otherwise, it looks pretty good. Refresh rate is good, but no variable refresh rate, and viewing angles are also pretty okay. But yeah, the display would be one of the main points that I would like here, but the panel is not the best there. If they manage to get the brightness up and use a variable refresh rate there, then I would say these points can come up to 4.5 even. Build quality is very, very good. Material used there, very solid. Water and dust resistance is there. The drop resistance is there. It's not the best drop resistance, so I think it's Gorilla Glass 5 only instead of Victus or Victus 2, but it is okay, I would say. On the front, we have those Gorilla Glass. On the back, we don't. But as you can get, first of all, you get a nice included case there, a transparent one. But I have this carbon fiber-like pattern, and this one is also helping there with drop resistance. Software experience, like I said, is okay. The UI UX is okay. The updates are lacking a bit, I would say. This is something where they can improve. It's not the worst, it's not as bad as it was on the Z50S Pro, so this is why we get like a solid 4.425 points, but it is a bit lacking there. We get nice feature updates, bug fixes. Sometimes the security updates are 1 or 2 months behind. Bloatware is almost non-existent, and customizations are there. It's pretty good, like icons that you can customize and so on. But AOD, for example, it's a bit of limited. I would like one of the newer options where you can select the fonts and maybe have nice transitions and so on. This is not there here on the UI. Maybe with ColorOS, with MyOS 15, we can get there. In terms of cameras, like I said, very solid camera, 4.305 points. You can see all my camera comparisons with this one. Connectivity is something that I was not talking about, but this device has good connectivity, very good Wi-Fi connectivity, very good Bluetooth connectivity, GPS, no issues, and cellular also very good. It's no wonder, because we have ZTE here as a mother company, and they are also creating routers and so on. Connectivity wise, very good connectivity, sometimes even beating my Huawei devices that are usually the top performer there. Comes very, very close there in certain situations, especially the Wi-Fi connectivity is very, very good, even in kind of lower connectivity radius situation. It is performing very well. Storage is okay size wise as well. I think it have 256 gigabytes here. Speed UFS 4 and expandability there's none, so it gets like the same points as every other phone that I tested out here. Audio and haptics, speakers are fine, headphones is good, recording is good in contrast to maybe the Xiaomi 14. External audio recording, it gets also pretty loudly recorded. I don't have to like do some heavy loudness raising there. Vibration motor is also very solid. In general, it's a very solid device. Security features, the fingerprint, the face recognition, encryption, and security patches I was talking about already there. I think security patches is something they can improve upon. Encryption, they could like put some dedicated chips there, but it could of course raise the price there. This is something that is still understandable there. This is why we get 4.431 points. And what does it mean then? Let's go and check out our smartphone ranking list there, and there we can see that the Nubia Z60 Ultra gets a very solid rank number 3 here, behind the Oppo Find X7 Ultra and the Vivo X100 Pro with 4.431 points. Where are the big differences? You can see that the Nubia Z60 Ultra is beating the Vivo X100 Pro in terms of performance, which is quite nice there, because yeah, the Vivo is also very fast actually, and should be even faster in certain scenarios. But as you can see here, the performance is CPU, RAM, multitasking, and GPU, and there is some kind of a RAM management issue, I would say, on the X100 Pro, because in contrast to the Z60 Ultra, the X100 Pro is closing apps even more frequently than the Z60 Ultra. And yeah, the performance is very, very good, especially also in games. It's a tad better than the X100 Pro, and it comes very close to the Find X7 Ultra there, that has also very top performance here, but better RAM management that helps there for sure. Battery life is very solid, it's beating all the other phones that I tested there with the 6000 mAh. There's no wonder. The display is one of the worst displays here, but that doesn't mean it's really, really bad. It's just that it doesn't have this variable refresh rate, and it doesn't have the highest brightness. This is, I think, only downside there. This is why it looks shockingly low here, but it is the only difference between all the other ones. Build quality is very solid, like I said, 4.7 points, just basically on par with the Xiaomi 14 and the Mate X3. Software experience is okay, I would say, 4.425 points. It is slightly better, as you can see here, than the Xiaomi 14. Why is that the case? Because let's look at software experience. We have UI, UX, updates, customization, and bloatware. And this is one thing where the Xiaomi is like losing its point. If Xiaomi wouldn't have so much bloatware, then it would get higher points than the software experience, because this is what makes the software experience on the Z60 Ultra better. So if it's not interesting for you, then of course the Xiaomi 14 software experience would be better than the Z60 Ultra if you just take away the bloatware kind of section. But I have this in here, this is why it's better. It's a bit worse than the Huawei one, it's a bit worse than the Vivo and the Find X7 Ultra, but nevertheless solid. Camera is also very solid, but you can see it's like one of the lower scores here. The Mate X3 is even lower than this. Otherwise, the Xiaomi 14 is also slightly bit better there. Connectivity, however, it's very, very good. It is beating the Mate X3, which is quite nice. It's coming very close to the Xiaomi 14, which is 4.9, and the Oppo Find X7 Ultra. And it's slightly beating the Vivo X100 Pro that had some connectivity issues when I was testing it with 5G and overheating. They meanwhile fixed this a little bit, but the Wi-Fi speeds are still better on the Nubia Z60 Ultra in comparison to the X100 Pro, especially in this a little bit of low range connectivity situations. Otherwise, audio and haptics is very solid there. You can see it's beating somehow the Xiaomi 14. And why is that the case? Because of the audio recording. Xiaomi 14 otherwise would get a very high score if it would have external mic on support without any distortion or high compression. It's a bit lower than the Vivo X100 Pro that has better speakers there, and the Oppo Find X7 Ultra, and also the Huawei Mate X3 that has excellent speakers here as well. Security features also, as you can see here, on par with the Xiaomi 14. It's also lacking a dedicated security chip for encryption. And it's a bit worse than the Vivo X100 Pro that's also lacking that, but gets more frequent updates when it comes to security updates. And yeah, security chip and frequent updates on the Find X7 Ultra help with this as well. So what do you think? It's a very solid device. You can see number 3 in my ranking. I have tested 5 devices so far. So solid middle ranking that we have here on the Nubia Z60 Ultra. What do you think about it? Write it on the comments. That's everything for my long-term experience report with the Nubia Z60 Ultra. Until the next time, bye. And just as a little spoiler, the device I was using for recording myself and the Nubia Z60 Ultra was the new device that I will use now and test for a long-term experience report, the Honor Magic 6 Pro. I'm still struggling if I might switch to the Magic 6 RSR. Or I will stick to the Pro version, we'll see. But yeah, be excited, subscribe and like this channel if you're interested in a long-term review of the Honor Magic 6 Pro. This will come in roughly a month, so be excited about it. And that's it for real now.